Welcome to another edition of Resilient Living Podcast, a show dedicated to improving quality of life for both people and planet through liberation and independence, moving you from surviving to thriving and living life on your own terms. My name is Adrian Babashoff, and this is episode 32, and it's making sense in this insane world. And I think we need a little bit of that, don't we? I think things are getting a little bit out of control. Just when we think we got things figured out, things just take another turn. And I can't help but to consider that this is done by design. And I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I get lost in it. Sometimes I wake up with anxiety, I get nervous, and I lose my way of what exactly do we need? How do we make sense? What do we do in these situations? And that's kind of what I want to talk about today and see if we can get it all done here within 15 minutes. So my very first thing is that with all the chaos and everything going on, I think we need to bring it home. And what we need to bring home is that nature is our best business partner. Nature is the business partner. It is the patron, the boss hog of everything. Let's look at why. Where does oil, petroleum? I think is the biggest profound example that we can put our fingers on here. Where does everything come from? Where does paint? What fuels cars? What lubricates cars? Where do IV bags come from? They come from acrylic polymers that are very resistant to being punctured. These are things that save lives. How do we get our food? How do we get our water, our energy? Almost our entire civilization right now is dependent on oil, and we mine the earth for oil. We need to understand, and we need to have respect for all living things to simplify life, to have this understanding. I think that a lot of people are unaware of where all these things come from that we get. Medications I never knew. There's certain medications that are derived from petroleum-based products, from petroleum basically itself. This is what I think gets a lot of us disconnected. I think that we're completely disconnected. We're almost overeducated of things that we deem important. We put importance on. And we're not looking at the blood, the vessels, the heartbeat, the actual blood that runs through the veins of our society. And I think that we need to understand these things so that we can make sense of it all. And when we look at these things, I want to tell you guys about yesterday. I was sitting in my truck. That's where I'm recording my show at, stationary this time, no background noise. That's got to be nice for the audio. But I get these bees, they always come after me, and they get sometimes stuck in my truck, so I've got to pull over and wave them out, or if I'm sitting in the back of my truck like I was yesterday, they'll get on the ceiling or something, and I got to get my hat off and, but try to persuade them, move them outside. So what I did is I just stuck my hand out in front of it, almost to intercept it, and it landed on my hand. And I was just taking the time to look at this magnificent creature, looking at the reflection of the light in its dark eyes, the little hairs on its body, watching its butt to make sure, is this thing going to sting me? Is it angry? Are we chilling? Is this my homie? Do I know him? Did I do something to him, or her, in the past? Just kidding. No, I just sat there, and this thing's crawling around my fingers and all over my hands, and when it simply was done with me, and I was done with it just flew away. And it's that peaceful interaction, I think, with nature is what we need, and respect for all living things. The planet is considered a living organism in and of itself, and within that planet there's living organisms and whole microcosms and things happening that need each other. Just like this bee, these bees need to go pollinate the food that we eat. We need to understand the significance of the web of life that goes on around us. It's not about puppy dog farts and TikTok videos, chicks with their butts hanging out and their boobs, their tits and stuff. It's not all about these kind of meaningless, stupid things. I mean, we should have fun in life, and women's bodies are gorgeous. Yeah, jokes are funny, but where does this get us? For a temporary relief valve, a little laughter here or some dazzling there. When we get into understanding and being part of nature again, which I think we've been by design, it's been painted out of our minds. But once we get into it we start to understand things and feel things a lot better. I usually work 8 to 9 months out of the year, for those of you just tuning in, and I'm on my mini retirement right now where I like to take about 3 to 4 months off of work. I don't know how many weeks or months I'm going to take off right now, but it's insignificant to the point I want to make of that. When I'm not busy working like I am now, it's been about a week. These are the type of things that start to come to my mind. These are the type of real life experiences that I begin to have when I'm not so preoccupied in my head about going to make money, paying the bills, where's my next job going to come from, make sure nothing gets screwed up here. And it's a vicious cycle. And I think that a lot of, when we get out of that cycle and we start to relax into ourselves and we start to observe our surroundings, things start to make sense a little better. We start to get that bird's eye view of exactly what's going on around us. So, which brings me to my next note here of what we need versus what we think we need. This is the 5th of July that I'm recording this show. I usually do these shows in advance. I am looking to take off for probably about 2 to 3 weeks with my children, so I'm trying to record as many shows as possible to see if I can keep all the slots Monday through Friday filled up while we're gone, because where we go, there's no reception, there's no internet, there's no nothing. We are deep into nature. But yesterday was 4th of July. I hope that yours was good. Mine was wonderful. There was ice cold beer and drinks and sodas, and which we don't really, they're all natural sodas, by the way. But we made some yummy foods and stuff like that, and I made myself a little area outside with a little futon couch, and I spent many hours just snuggling with my youngest daughter. I spent time with my oldest daughter doing some art, drawing pictures and things like that. And I don't think that I know that the most simplest things that we all need is just connection. And my youngest daughter just sticking her head in my lap and just laying against me, wanting to be with me and me wanting to be with her. And I think that's the connection that most people want, the very, very simple things. I think we've complicated the simplicity. We've complicated everything. We've overeducated ourselves, as I said, and we're extending our thoughts and our energies into things that aren't even sustainable. They're not even resilient. Whereas with nature, when we get back to that, we look around, these ecosystems, these trees that are over thousands of years old, these formations and these symbiotic relationships that we have, the connection that plants and animals and the earth has, is we have this as well. We just lost track. So bringing it back to what we think that we need versus what we actually need is just that connection. And we need resiliency and understanding that nature is our friend, that nature is not our enemy. It's not some dirty, weird, virus, bacterial infested thing, that it actually provides for us. And without it, we will be a species that will go down. So when we involve ourselves into these things and we understand, when we can nurture nature and we can live with it, understanding permaculture and natural farming and things like that. Because you see, guys, I think a lot of people are stressed out right now, and that's my goal of this show, is to try to give people some incentive or give them some hope of things that are out there. And if you knew the things that I knew about what natural farmers are doing, how they have zero inputs, absolutely zero. They do not water, they do not fertilize, they don't do anything. There's these people where the frogs and the deer and cows and chickens and everything, pigs are all welcome. Even disease is welcome. Chestnut, blithe, and things like that. Go ahead, eat up, screw up, kill my weakest species, and so that we get rid of them, we can immediately plant them with a stronger species. They're taking up real estate. Why are we trying to keep alive what wants to die and trying to kill what wants to live? We have this whole thing backwards. And if you knew the significance of the things that people are doing with permaculture and natural farming as a sustenance, as fibers, right? Of bamboo fibers, of hemp fibers and things like that. Just the ingenuity and the strength and the durability and resiliency of these products and things, and having people growing them on large scales, that's changing the world. But these are things that aren't brought up in social media, and I don't think are quite popular. Because you see, before I used to post things on Facebook and things like that, I'd start thumbing through, and people would start, I'd see posts on there of how corrupt the government is and how crazy things are. But a lot of us aren't focusing on the things that are actually beautiful and sustainable, and in my account, in my mind, very powerful. And once we know about these things, there's no going back. And to know that we could be a part of these things, that we are part of these things, even if you're not growing nature, repairing the earth as you're creating food, jobs, and ecosystems for things, you can vote with your dollar. Organic Valley Farms is one of the co-ops that I like to support from Mark Shepard. A lot of these permaculturists and natural farmers, I think more in the natural farming, not the permaculture sector, but these are the people that are making things happen where they're repairing the earth and doing things on a more sustainable, resilient level that's in harmony with nature. And when we know these things, we could at least support them and vote with our dollars. I think that should help alleviate a lot of stress. But I just want people to know that there are things going on out there. I've just given up posting them. It is here on this show that I'm hoping that those of us, my type of people, who have hope, who are willing to put in the work and do things to better themselves, better the planet, that actually have actions and not just talk, where people are just even relatively interested in these type of things. You see, I don't think that there's a lot of people interested in these type of things. They like the drama of life, but that's when it becomes insane. It's when it becomes, we can't make sense of anything because nothing does make sense. Everything's jumbled up. But if we take it down to the simplicity, where all we need to do is be on land, we need to, or support people who are working with nature, and that things just keep giving and giving. There's olive trees that are like thousands of years old. These things are still producing sustenance for people. If we nurture nature, we simplify everything to just snuggle with each other, to draw with each other, to paint, dance, do art, just be present, be mindfully present with each other. All the complications and all the things that we've just jumbled up in life, I think, start to come back home. And I think there's a huge movement right now where it's a back to the land, where a lot of people are heading, purchasing farmland and things like that, homesteading, and noticing that, you know what, this is not fulfilling. I think a lot of us are doing things beyond what we don't like, in fact, which we hate. We're doing jobs. It's evident. You can see it in people. You could probably see it in yourself. But I think a lot of us are doing things that we know are wrong, that it's just not right. It's not good for the people. It's not good for nature. It's good for ourselves for the present moment. But what about the sustainable future? What about a resilient life? How long are these things going to go on for? How much sustenance do we get? Or do we just deflate something? Do we just take over something like a cancer, eat it all up till it's gone, and move on to the next host? This is why things don't make sense. This is why things are jumbled up, because we're not humaning up. That's one of the words I like to think that I've created is human up. Not cowboy up, not woman up, not man up, human up. And human means that we all know the difference between right and wrong. We know what is a good thing. We know what is a bad thing. I think a lot of us have gotten jumbled up, as I said, through public education and just the education of our elders and our government, social media, movies, wherever you get all of your information from. Sometimes, as I said, we've become overeducated, and we are emphasizing energy in the wrong areas. When we human up, we know the difference between right and wrong, and everything becomes very simplified. All we need is some warmth, some clothing, some fresh, clean water, some food, maybe some energy. But the biggest thing we need to do is snuggle. We need to have bees on our fingers, and we need to lose ourselves to the fascination as when we were a child with the simple life forms and organisms, and following nature and anything beyond nature, just things. A bridge, a person built a bridge. How the heck do they put the piers in the water without them sinking? And how is it that bridge has lasted so many hundreds of years? It's just fascinating. Architecture and science, all of these things, I think, have their place. But we've lost our fascination. We've just become consumers of everything. And now our lives are so complicated that we keep consuming and consuming, but we never fill up. We never feel satisfied. And why is that? Because we haven't humaned up. We need to human up to ourselves. We need to have this deep understanding that nature is our best business partner, that it is the boss, that it will teach us lessons, and that all the rest of this other crap going on in the world means nothing when you're snuggling on a couch, eating some yummy food, and enjoying a perfectly delightful evening with no distractions and just the interconnection of life around you and those people around you, and the relationship that you have with yourself, because you've humaned up to the world, to other people, but you need to human up to yourself. And when you human up to yourself and you're in those moments able to relax and have peace, all things start to make sense. Guys, if I brought you any value, please like and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. The best thing you can do if you want to support this show and you want it to keep going on is give it a review so we can get this show off the ground. My name's Adrian Babashoff, and I'm very delighted that you guys have taken the time to listen to these words today. It's Resilientlpodcast at gmail.com. Everything's in the description below. Resilient Living Podcast on Instagram. And guys, as I always say, go out there and have yourself a near-life experience. Don't lose your muchness. Carry on the fire. And as I said on this show, human up, my friends.